Our first story is called Mr. Funny and the Magic Lamp, written by the same artists. Mr. Funny lives in a teapot house. How ridiculous, I hear you say, but it suited Mr. Funny right down to its spout. Now one day last spring, Mr. Funny discovered an old trunk in his attic, which is under the lid. And in the trunk he found a carpet that gave him a surprise. For it was a magic carpet, a magic flying carpet. Mr. Funny was very excited. There and then he decided to go on a trip to see where the magic carpet would take him. So on that spring morning he set off on an adventure. Mr. Funny flew over Lazy Land, where he woke up Mr. Lazy with a very odd raspberry and a funny face. Mr. Lazy laughed so much he fell out of bed. Mr. Funny and his magic carpet flew over Fat Land, where Mr. Funny made Mr. Skinny laugh. He laughed so much he tripped over Daisy and dropped the breadcrumb he was carrying for his picnic lunch. And they flew over Cold Land, where Mr. Funny made Mr. Sneeze laugh. He laughed so much that he stopped sneezing. The magic carpet flew on and on. They flew over mountains and valleys and over the sea. Finally they arrived at a desert. But there was nobody there, nobody to laugh at Mr. Funny's funny faces. Then just about as he was about to leave, Mr. Funny saw something half buried in the sand. It was a lamp. What a grubby old lamp, he said to himself, and gave it a rub. Suddenly, with a clap of thunder and in a cloud of smoke, a genie appeared in front of Mr. Funny, which was all very excited. But what Mr. Funny noticed at all was how miserable the genie looked. Mr. Funny had never seen anyone look so unhappy. "Master," said the genie glumly, "I am the genie of the lamp, and I appear before you to grant you 3 wishes." To the genie's surprise, Mr. Funny pulled one of his famous funny faces. But the genie didn't laugh. He didn't chuckle. He didn't even smile. Not a flicker. "Oh dear," said Mr. Funny. It was going to take a bit of more than a funny face to cheer up this genie. Then he had a thought. "For my first wish, I wish for a piano-playing elephant." "As you command, master," said the genie, and then before he could say broken piano stool, a piano-playing elephant appeared before him. Mr. Funny roared with laughter. It was hilarious. But it was not funny enough to make the genie laugh. He looked just as glum as before. Mr. Funny had another thought. "For my second wish, I wish for a mouse." And before you could say squeak, a mouse appeared. And as Mr. Funny, you probably know, great big elephants are frightened of teeny tiny mice. The elephant trumpeted in fear and jumped on top of the piano, which broke under the elephant's weight. Mr. Funny laughed with delight. "Now that was funny," chuckled Mr. Funny. "Not really," said the genie, who looked just as unhappy as before. "You are a gloomy fellow," said Mr. Funny. "You would be too," said the genie, "if you had to live in that lamp." "It must be a tight squeeze," admitted Mr. Funny. "You could say that again," grumbled the genie. "There's no room even to cough living in a lamp." "I'll live in a teapot, a very comfortable teapot. Mind you," said Mr. Funny, and then yet another thought struck him. "For my third wish, I wish your lamp was a house." And before he could say, "Bring me a builder," the genie's lamp had turned into a house. The genie smiled. Only a flicker of a smile, but at least a smile. "That's more like it," said Mr. Funny. "Now how am I going to get this elephant back home? I know, I wish—" "I'm sorry," interrupted the genie. "You've used up all your 3 wishes." So Mr. Funny and the elephant had to squeeze onto the magic carpet for their ride home. It was quite a sight. Quite rather funny, in fact. So funny, the genie roared with laughter. Second story.